27-14 run with the complimentary plays, including a 12-3 roll in the NFL. I'm going to take a look at your game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Also, a complimentary bowl play on the game between Oregon and Boise State, the Las Vegas Bowl, plus a college basketball complimentary play between Middle Tennessee State and Auburn. That is all coming up on today's edition of the Video Report. Hi, everyone. DeMarco here. And, of course, the college bowl season getting underway today. Now, I've told you many times here on the Video Report that, the college bowl season has become, to me, at least from a gambling perspective, more of a exhibition campaign because it's very hard to win many of these college games because of the mitigating factors. Coaches constantly going around on the coaching carousel, switching teams, players getting suspended either for rules violations or academic ineligibility issues, or as you see in today's game with Oregon against Boise State, Royce Freeman, just the latest among many players who have decided to sit out the game because they don't want to risk any health or any injuries because they don't want to jeopardize their health status for the NFL draft come April. And that makes these games even more difficult to handicap. The other thing is that, so many of these games later in the bowl season, you have 4, maybe sometimes 5 weeks from the last time these teams played. So you're not handicapping a team that you have seen consistently for 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 consecutive weeks. You're seeing a team that, they've had anywhere from 15 to 20 practices, but you don't know what you're going to get when they finally hit the field after maybe a 5 to 6 week layoff. But all that being said, there is one of today's bowl games that I am coming out big on, and it's going to be the 12th ever college football 30-dime release of my career. And when I'm talking about career, I'm talking about in the 15 to 16 years since I established these websites also many years ago. Now, you may recall 2 Saturdays ago, I had a 30-dime play on Memphis. I wisely told you, as I always do, to buy up the half point against Central Florida in the AAC championship game. I got the cover as they lost by 7 in overtime. 2 weeks prior to that, I gave you Memphis minus 11 points against SMU, and it was one of the most wildly entertaining games of the season. Huge fourth quarter. Remember that game? They had the hour lightning delay in the fourth quarter of that one. The entertaining game, Memphis out-slugging SMU, another 30-dime play. You got both of those 30-dime releases, the half-price play of the day, and the same thing goes today. The 12th ever 30-dime college football release of my career, and it happens to be one of the bowl games, and it's my bowl blowout of the year. And the reason I'm doing it, none of the situations I talked about earlier applies to this particular bowl matchup. And I also like it because, again, the end of the regular season is just in the rearview mirror. Only a couple of weeks ago. So I feel that this is just no different than betting a game in October where a team is coming off a bye. You can apply all the metrics that you normally do in the regular season to this particular bowl game. But as usual, I always give you this caveat. I'm not telling you to bet the money you have set aside to buy Christmas presents or the mortgage money or the money to put food on your table. I'm telling you this is a 30-dime play because that's my way of telling you that you have to still play it within your own personal bankroll allocation system. But I've won 4 of my last 5 top-rated 15-dime releases, including both in the NFL. Broncos on Thursday night. Thank you, Brock Osweiler, and the Eagles last Sunday against the Rams. This is my way of telling you that this play is worth even more. So if you've been winning and if you've been with me over the past week, it's time to step up if you can afford to. Because remember, if you never bet more than you can afford to lose and you never fall into that deep financial abyss from which there is no escape, and I also don't believe that you have to pay big money to make big money, and that's why it's a half-price play of the day simply by using coupon code HALF. The other big play today, a game that I'm going to talk about in just a minute, Las Vegas Bowl. Boise State and Oregon. Jack Brayman, 4th ever 200-dime college football release of his career since he joined the site last January. Number 3 was Army over Navy last Saturday. Number 2, Auburn, out right over Alabama a couple of Saturdays back. You get it for over half price off by using the coupon code FOURTH, F-O-U-R-T-H. Spell it out. In the NFL, the big play tonight would be Tommy Brunson, who since joining the site at the beginning of September He is a perfect 5 for 5 with his highest rated NFL release, 159 plays. How about the last couple? Ravens last Sunday night, covering, should have won the game against the Steelers. Two Sunday nights ago. Seattle outright over Philadelphia, snapping the Eagles' 9-game winning streak. Today, looks for number 6 in a row. You get it again for over half price off by using coupon code 150DIMER, 150 DIMER. All your other discounts, etc., over on the homepage, including this being Saturday. You can save potentially hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price by using coupon code 24%, 24PERCENT. It's a mix and match coupon, which means you can save again by using any combination of Handicappers picks and or packages, a total of 24% off your total purchase price. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon, which means you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time to maximize your savings. If you ever have coupon or questions about the coupons, you can always contact customer service. So let's do these plays in reverse chronological order. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Chargers. I actually like Kansas City +1 tonight at home against the Chargers. First time these two teams played, of course, was early in the season, back in week number 3, and the Chiefs won their 7th consecutive game straight up in the series, covering 5 of those games when they won at Los Angeles 24-10. Will we ever get done saying San Diego instead of Los Angeles? It just, after all these years, it's so hard to break out of that pattern. And in that game, Phillip Rivers, of course, had 3 interceptions. Now, the interesting dynamic here is, the flip side of that is that the road team has covered 5 straight in this series. And that the Chargers, of course, come into this particular rematch on a red-hot roll in Vegas, covering 7 of their last 9 games. Defense is coming off a very strong effort at home last week against Washington. They held the Redskins. Remember, though, the Redskins are a one-dimensional team that has fallen to pieces. Held the Redskins to 14 first downs, 268 total yards. Now, at stake is first place, sole possession of first place in the AFC West in this game. We've seen how the Chiefs started off like gangbusters, went into the depression. Last week, good game with the win against the Raiders. I'm sorry. I just told you something wrong. Yes, the Chargers beat the Redskins, but it was the Chiefs that held the Raiders to the 14 first downs, 268 total yards, and snapping a 4-game losing streak. I just call it a hunch. Yes, call it a hunch. But did I not give you a hunch play on the Dolphins on Monday night, thinking that they were going to snap the Patriots' winning streak? Have I not won 12 of my last 15 complimentary plays in the NFL? My hunches are pretty damn good. I just think the Chiefs are the way to go here tonight. It's funny how all teams, have that peak and valley. And the Chiefs have had the peak, and boy, they've been in the valley. I just like Kansas City here in this particular contest. Yes, I know the Chargers won their 4th straight against the Redskins. I know Phillip Rivers had another strong game, 319 yards and 2 touchdowns. I just like the way the Chiefs got their offense a little bit in gear. Granted, I know the Raiders play no defense, but I just like the Chiefs here in this particular contest. Let's take a look at the other game, Detroit and Chicago. Boy, I don't know what to make of that game. Listen, I handicapped it. Let me just briefly talk about it. If this line was 3, I'd tell you to buy the Lions down to half point and go ahead and take Detroit at home. But at 5, I just can't really get that involved in this game because the first game was a 3-point game. Listen, Chicago's going to come out and try to run the ball. They had great success running the ball in the first meeting. Jordan Howard's coming off that 147-yard, 2-touchdown performance against the Bengals last week. And yeah, the Bears looked good against the Bengals, but it was the Bengals. And the Bengals have packed it in for the season. So a 33-7 win in Cincinnati, what does it really mean for Chicago? Chicago team that had lost 5 straight games coming into that contest. And Mitchell Trubisky, big deal. He has 6 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions since taking over that starting job in week number 5. He's been sacked once every 10 pass attempts. Therein lies the problem. The Lions don't have much of a pass rush. Only 26 sacks on the season. Bears ran for 222 yards in the first meeting. I still lean toward the Lions in this particular game, but I just can't get that enthralled with it. So Kansas City is the play that I actually like tonight. Now, of the bowl games, of course, listen, I'm telling you, my favorite is the game. I have the 30-dimer. The game that you can rule out among the games is the game I'm going to talk about. I like Oregon in the Las Vegas Bowl. I know Royce Freeman is not playing, but Royce Freeman is not the key to the Oregon Ducks. Listen, Royce Freeman played in all the games during the regular season, I believe, but why did the Oregon Ducks fail this year? It's when Justin Herbert, the quarterback, was injured. He had that broken collarbone. When he started, they were 6-1 this season. When he was out, They averaged 15 points a game. When he was in the starting lineup, they averaged 52 points a game. Look at what happened the final 2 games of the season when he returned, taking on a red-hot Arizona team at home. Let me just look up the final score so I don't misquote it. 48-28. And then how about the Civil War game? Granted, Willie Taggart wanted to run up the score. You got to love Willie Taggart. Yeah, he's not there, but let's just go back for a second. You got to love Willie Taggart. Last year against Central Florida, ran up the score. This year against Oregon State, ran up the score. And he makes no bones about it. He loves going for the dagger. He loves stepping on people's throats. That's why I love Willie Taggart as a head coach when you got to lay points. But in that game, it was 69-10. The fact is they score points when Justin Herbert's there. And it's not like they don't have any other running backs. Okay, yes, you're going to miss the all-time career rushing leader for Oregon today. But they have competent backs, and they're going to be able to run that up-tempo scheme, and they still have their quarterback, and that's the key. And I have not been impressed by Boise State all season long. So I say go with Oregon State. They promoted Mario Cristobal, so he was one of their offensive coordinators. Nothing's going to change with this Oregon offense today. Go ahead, lay the 7 points, drop it down to 6.5, or if it's 7.5, drop it down to 7, buy that half point, and go with Oregon in the Las Vegas Bowl. I think that's the way to go in that particular contest. College basketball today. One of my early season favorite teams is Middle Tennessee State, a team that I am more than willing to grab the 2.5 to 3 points today against Auburn. Be aware this game is not being played on the Plains. This game is being played in Birmingham. Now, the Tigers may be 8-1, but their only loss came against Temple by 14 points. Why is that significant? Because their biggest wins, if you can count them as big wins, came against a Dayton team that's 4-5, came against a Winthrop team, which is 5-4. So their biggest wins came against big name teams, in quotes, but they haven't played anybody. That's the thing. Blue Raiders last week hammered Ole Miss 77-58. 3 days earlier, they won outright for the second straight year against Vanderbilt, this time doing it in Nashville as the road dog, 66-63. They're off to a 7-1 start. Their only loss coming against Belmont. This is a Middle Tennessee State team that has won a game in the Big Dance each of the past 2 years. Auburn, smallish team. Granted, they have out-rebounded every single foe this season, but they haven't played anybody. Keep in mind, they have 2 returning starters, Austin Wiley and, I can't remember his first name, but Purifoy is his last name. That their eligibility has been in doubt all season long and still being waited to be ruled on by the NC2A. So the fact that they're off to a good start, their 2 top rebounders are still sitting on the sideline, and I look at their RPI. Well, Middle Tennessee State is 13th in the nation. Auburn is 56. And then I go over to KenPom, and it's interesting. KenPom, the numbers are reversed. Auburn actually has a higher standing in KenPom, 43 versus Middle Tennessee State is 66. But sometimes you have to look at the eye test. This is Auburn's second road game. Yes, they're going from the Plains a couple hours away to Birmingham, but it's still a road game. I look at strength of schedule, and on KenPom.com, Middle Tennessee State, strength of schedule, 63. Auburn is 261. Again, when your toughest games, you played Temple, you lost. Everybody else, you played a bunch of cupcakes as far as I'm concerned. Middle Tennessee State has already beaten Vandy, already beaten Ole Miss. 5 straight wins over the past couple of years against SEC teams. This is a dragon killer. It seems Middle Tennessee State sees the SEC and goes, I want to beat them. And I think the Blue Raiders can. They've got a guy who's an Alabama transfer, Nick Frost, who's leading the team, a small power forward who's averaging like 23 points and 6 rebounds a game. I'll grab the points with them today. So again, if I had to rank them and order the plays I like, Kansas City, the Chiefs, and Oregon would be right there at the top, and Middle Tennessee State right behind them. That'll do it for today. I wish you well, guys, and we're going to do it again tomorrow.